You're live.
Oh, you can see that?
Yeah, I can see. Wow. I see a screen of you on a screen with the same screen. Now I see me. Nice. The thing is I'm delayed. You hear me as soon as I come out, but look, watch my lips on the screen.
Here's the thing, Kevin. Here's the thing.
Think so.
You're a little delayed.
Yeah, I know I'm a little delayed.
Think about how delayed I am on there.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine.
Delays. I had a dream last night that someone from middle school like rolled over my head.
Rolled over it like their body?
Yeah, it was really weird.
Dude, I've been having stress dreams lately.
Yeah, dreams are weird.
Yeah, like I've been Googling them and stuff, and essentially like it all just means that I feel like I'm not in control of my life and that I'm just completely stagnant and have no control over where I'm going. Which is kind of a bummer, dude, because I don't know. But they're scary too. Like
Yeah. Dreams are scary. They're like the most real, realer than real.
I had a Godzilla dream the other night, and basically like Godzilla was after just me, like strictly me. And like Brian Frieseke was there, and like like people I haven't seen in like 15 years were there, and it was crazy. I was like running through this apartment complex, and every time I turned, like its eye would just be like in the window. I couldn't get away from it.
Yeah, it's weird. I think this like the change in habits of socializing and stuff has kind of created like maybe more dream space, you know?
Yeah.
To like let things kind of from the subconscious come to the surface. From the subconscious. To the surface.
So did you want to do like did you want to take turns answering one of those questions, or did you just kind of want to roll?
Right now I'm just setting up some lighting, trying to figure out, so on the stream, I think it's literally, yeah, it's just me. Okay, so here's what, so lighting. So I'm going to close this door, and I'm going to change the lighting of you so it looks better.
Cool. Yeah, I will say like what's on the TV is very different coloring than what I'm seeing in the little me on my phone.
Well, what I should do is I'll do a quick sound.
Mm-hmm.
That sounded crazy. That really sounded weird. Okay. So let's see. What do you like? Brighter? Is this good?
Yeah, that's good.
Oh. System preferences.
System preferences, bitch. System preferences. Hang on, I gotta go plug my phone in. I'll be right back.
Preferences. System preferences. System preferences. System preferences. System preferences. System preferences. System preferences.
Oh my god. My dog Chance just spent the last like 45 minutes to an hour humping the shit out of like some blankets. And I want to go in to get my phone charger, and he was just laying on the floor with like, I'm not even kidding you, like a 5-inch red rocket. It's just dangling, dude. Like, so gross. I'm not even getting my phone charger for a little bit because it's like I don't want to be around it.
And how does that make you feel?
Really weird. I think my dog wasn't neutered properly. Do you remember Chance? Like he'd always like hump pillows for hours.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was. I don't think he was neutered properly.
Because of the pillows?
Well, and he literally humps every single dog he meets, and he humps every single human he meets. He is the horniest neutered dog I've ever seen.
Oh, because it's the balls. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you get a tonsillectomy, they can grow back. So, you say tomato, I say tonsillectomy, right?
Uh,
How do you like this contrast?
yeah, it's really good. You really improved the picture. Yeah, you did a really good job with that one.
There we go. Sometimes I feel like this is dangerous to have in my room because it must have some kind of dangerous element to it, you know? The circle of elements.
The circle of elements.
Yeah, you know about that.
I identify as a circle, along with my best friend Greg Doucette, or my doctor.
Yeah, I know.
Cool to have doctors also your best friend though.
Okay, the sharpness. The sharpness is out of whack.
Oh yeah, that's sharp.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, I think this might be as good as it's gonna get.
That's actually pretty good.
And I'm tired of looking at screens.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty bright. Can you?
Like that.
Well, you do have a light right there.
Wait, really?
Yeah, right behind you.
Oh shit. Didn't fucking see that.
Well, it's not a problem until I get the 1920s television out. Can you tilt it down like a tiny bit?
I can do nothing about that. In fact, it is so bright that's why I'm wearing this hat, because it hurts my eyes when I sit here.
So you can't tilt your phone a little forward? Yeah, that's good. You don't even have to tilt it that much forward. You could actually, that's good, but can you move to You were covering that one before.
Is this light better?
You were covering that one before though. Or
how's that?
well, do you want to sit forward or back into your seat?
What about this? No, I
Wait.
think the best way to go about this is to go like this. Hang
Oh.
on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm gonna do a test on the phone.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's so gross. I'm getting almost kind of nauseous thinking about it. I've never seen a red rocket that big.
Yeah, it's after all, everything when it goes to the sea, and we've all found a music stand in a free pile or a piece of art. And how does that make you feel? Grand staircase to serendipity, terabithia. What is this? Frame drums of freedom? What are we? Salamanders? Gosh. So I have a hunch that we're going to want to turn down your brightness before we go into any kind of, I don't.
Actually, look at me on the screen. It seems pretty all right.
Cool. That's good to hear.
Like, see? Look.
Oh my god. Oh, I'm too dark. Actually, no, this is good. This is great. Hello, 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 hello. Oh my god, it's a good mic. We just caught someone dropping off a package through my window.
Yeah, we did.
We could
I was
hear
wondering-
we could hear that.
Yeah, we could. Do we need to go tell them that they're being recorded?
Well, the thing is that was actually pre-planned. It's actually all a skit. So now you're just ruining what we call the 17th wall. And the previous 16th walls are free game, my friend. But the 17th, you done busted down that door, drywall of asbestos, a lead paint of yesteryear's forgotten, forever tomorrow, carcinogenic death to freedom.
Have you ever seen that video of a kid explaining the fourth dimension?
Oh, here's the thing: is if I get a video so many times recommended,
You don't watch it.
I don't watch it and then sometimes I do, but it just bothers me. It's like, why is it that? It makes me think it's that popular because it's like at a certain point, what's happening here? Is it popular because it's being pushed to the top because it's in everyone's suggested, or is it popular because it's a good video? Like at a certain point, it's almost like, well, this video is just, it must be linked to some money making,
The kid who made it actually doesn't make YouTube videos anymore. He basically, I think that video blew up. He was not expecting it to blow up the way it did, and then he became somewhat of a philosopher or a social critic, and his videos probably went from getting like 9 views to just like 800,000 views over the course of like 2 months. And he actually couldn't handle, like, I've tried finding out more about him, find out who he is and stuff, and like the only thing I could find like discernibly about him was a Reddit thread saying like, hey, what happened to XKCD kid?
Threaded red?
Threaded red, yeah. And it was a post by his wife. It said like, hello everyone.
His 5-year-old wife?
Well, no, the video was made like 10 years ago, so he's probably like 23, 24 years old. It was like...
Wait, well, wouldn't he be 14?
Yeah.
So he's 15-year-old wife. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, sorry.
No, you're good. But yeah, like it was just a comment by her saying like, stop trying to find things out about him, like leave him alone. He just wants to be left in peace, just like,
Leave Brittany alone.
Yeah, right.
Keep you warm.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
Your shoulder though.
Really
Are you
nice.
hiding?
How does this work? I'm trying to figure out which way I'm pointing.
I think it's opposite, maybe.
I think it is. Yeah, it is.
Okay, well, it's getting about to that time, so thanks for having me on the podcast.
And we're back.
We got into some really good topics today.
Yeah, sincerely.
You know what? Actually, we should just continue this later. You should, when you come back into town next time, come on in. You have an open door policy with me.
Open floor policy.
Open bore flawlessly.
Open floor policy.
Dope and blower flawlessly.
Dope and blower flawlessly.
Okay.
Soap and blower flawlessly.
So I have an idea.
What's up?
I have a game. We should each choose a phone number and not say it live, but we can call them people that maybe we don't have to do it, but we could do it. Just people that wanna hang out for a second, and maybe we can ask them a question or two.
Yeah, for sure. What do you want to ask them?
Well, I think we should each think of a question, and then I'll write them down.
Nice.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, I got a question. Sure.
Just looking for some sunglasses.
All right, now my phone's at 10%, and I really need to go get my phone charger. So wish me luck. So what question did you want to ask?
I actually didn't think about it, but I'm in a better space now. So I have the paper right here. It sounds like you know, though. Do you know?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll write it down.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, let me just put the frame drum closer to the speaker. That'll work. I gotta put something on there. Oh, whatever. Okay, what's your question?
After you close the door when you go in the bathroom, do you pull your mask down around your chin?
So this is implying a public bathroom?
Yeah.
This might shock you, but I haven't been in a public bathroom in over a year, maybe?
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, I don't think I've had to. And to answer your question, I mean, I just can't. I can't recall the last time. I'm sure it was recently. I just can't remember. But anyway, I would leave it on. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I leave it on.
why would you take it off so you can like touch your face real quick?
Yeah, or like something, the door handle, you know. But more so, what I'm thinking is like how many people wear the mask as sort of a visual, like for views, you know?
Like a prop.
Yeah.
How about
Like look at
this? Why do you wear a mask? What like, or I don't know. What's your question that I should ask?
Oh yeah.
Word for
Yeah.
word.
Why do you wear a mask? Yeah.
Is that too
Yeah.
simple?
No, that's actually perfect because we can just. Why do you wear a mask? If so, or if not, why? You
Yeah.
know, like why do you wear a mask, or if you don't, why don't
Do
you?
you mask?
Do you mask?
If yes, why? Yeah, I wear a mask. I mean, I'll wear a mask even here. Like if I'm going for a walk, I'll bring a mask and I'll put it on when I walk by someone.
Do you pee in public?
Not in public, but like if I go on like a long walk, I'll definitely pee in, public land. I mean, that's like, I guess like porta potties, but yeah. The one thing that I feel like I've learned that you shouldn't urinate by bodies of water.
Yeah.
Which is funny because like surfers pee all the time. I guess that's salt water unless you're on the Great Lakes. But
At the lake all the time.
like I don't pee near like creeks and rivers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Try to go far away from there. And I think urine's like relatively like you can put urine on certain plants. It helps nitrogen or whatever. I don't think it's good for plants you eat. Maybe it's good for compost that you eat, but I think human waste is just you're not supposed to eat. I don't know. Maybe urine's okay, but yeah, I just don't have a car, and I haven't been going anywhere like further than biking. So, wow, yeah, this is interesting. Mask. Here we are. Okay. Okay, my question.
Oh yeah, you got a question.
How's your day going?
Oh, that's a good question. You want me to answer that?
Yeah.
I woke up. I slept in a little bit compared to what I normally do, but I woke up. I had a good breakfast. I just realized the power of yogurt. Dude, yogurt's like a really good. There we go. Yogurt's like a really good food. I think you just have to get the right yogurt though. Like I've been getting Baye, and Baye is like really good. It's got the probiotics and protein and like just solid. It's like very low in calories. I don't know. I just yesterday was when I found out that yogurt was dope. I like decided to eat it with some granola and fruit, and I was like, this is both delicious and nutritious. And so I've been doing that instead of like plant milk, because I think if milk, I don't know, I just don't like dairy milk. The probiotics really help with the stomach issues that lactose causes me, or just dairy in general.
But dairy milk,
Yeah, dairy milk has always made me kind of
or sorry,
foggy.
dairy yogurt.
Yeah, so dairy Greek yogurt. It's got to be Greek yogurt for the probiotics, you know. Um,
You know, like
or
Nancy's.
no,
I think that's what it's called, Nancy's. Yeah, I think so. That's the brand that the Grateful Dead bailed out. It's Ken Kesey's family company. Hey, Kevin,
what's up?
yogurt is when you take milk
Mm-hmm.
and you put a certain kind of bacteria in that milk,
Yeah.
and then you leave it at like slightly above room temperature overnight. And then it's fully colonized with that good beneficial bacteria. And so if you buy organic milk, you could actually do it with just boiling water as a heating element. And you don't have to have Greek yogurt. In fact, Fage might not be as beneficial as just making your own or even other brands. Because I don't think they use organic grass-fed milk.
Probably not, but it is pretty tasty and convenient.
I know, I'm just saying, like, you were saying it's the only one that has the beneficial bacteria. There's lots of different kinds or whatever.
Oh no, I was saying Greek, not Faye, just like
Greek.
Greek yogurt in general.
Well, but there's
And
also, like, a lot of other yogurts. Like actually what yogurt is just that beneficial bacteria and milk. That's what it is.
interesting. So like, why do other yogurts? Is it just a marketing thing then? It says billions of probiotics on the side. Does all yogurt have billions of probiotics then?
Well, think of it like saying like billions of single-celled or multicellular organisms. It's like, well, that's not really. That's like saying 20% less than the competing brand. You know what I mean? It's like
Slightly different, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
it's like a claim that doesn't really make it better. It's like, yeah, of course it's yogurt, but then I think you can make yogurt. Like I think even like Yoplait and stuff that's not necessarily like good for you because it's got a lot of sugar or it's got a lot of like artificial flavors or whatever it is. I think that's got probiotics.
That would be interesting. It would be interesting to see if it was just a marketing thing. I might have to look into that a little more and see, because like there's Activia, which is from Yoplait, which boasts more probiotics than just normal.
Here's the thing: is that's
Or
completely
like
sorry. That's just BS because probiotics. It's not about the number. It's like putting some ladybugs in your garden or something, and then they like make more or something like that. You know, like it's not like that would be like saying, "Oh, we made a beer that's 15%," and it's like, okay, but maybe people don't like that because it doesn't
yeah,
taste good, you know.
yeah. I guess just one thing I've been trying to focus on is my probiotic intake.
Well, what I'm like recommending is like I can talk to you some other time on it, but I've been fermenting stuff.
Yeah, I eat a lot of fermented foods too, sauerkraut, pickled beets, and shit like that.
And that's the same thing. It's like a different kind. And so what you can do is you can make your own, and it's like the bacteria from where you live, you know,
Mm-hmm.
which kind of adds this element of like, uh, it's like growing your own food. It's like stuff from your area, you know.
That would be sick. I always come like this is a common thing that can occur. It's like even on like YouTube channels, like there's this guy Derek Simnett who's like a whole foods plant based vegan and everything, and he's a calisthenics like bodybuilder type dude who's like pretty jacked and can do a lot of really impressive stuff with his body, and he's like a vegan. That's like his shtick. And he'll get people in the comment section saying like, "Why don't you make your own this? And why don't you compost this? And why don't you farm like this and stuff like that?" And it's like, I feel like in nowadays society, we only have so much time to do certain things. It's like you can be vegan and grow your own food, but can you be vegan and grow your own food and have a full-time YouTube channel and be a calisthenics expert and keep in touch with your family and have friends and a full-time job and
Yeah.
So it's like time. You have a lot more time than you think, but I think you have a lot more ideas than you have time for,
Yeah.
And you like the royal you. So it's like I've always wanted to get into making my own shit. I've made my own sauerkraut before.
Nice.
But I just ended up liking purchasing it better.
My like
Hang on, Chelsea is calling me. Do you mind if I put you on pause?
totally, or just like mute it or whatever.
Sweet. And we're back. I don't know why it ended the call though, honestly. Maybe I just can't be on an audio call and a FaceTime call at the same time.
Oh my god, this is better. Wow. Cool.
You think it's better?
Well, I just changed. Oh wait, actually, can you? No, this is good.
Yeah, there we go. That looks solid. Yeah, that looks
Oh
good.
wait, no, actually, how did this happen? What's going on here?
I think it's the angle that you have your webcam is affecting it. Yeah, because that's good. Oh my, it's you being in the shot, maybe?
Remember, it was like kind of working.
Yeah, what the heck? Is this better?
Oh, because you were just smaller, that's why.
Nice.
So yeah, my thing is like I don't have the time. I mean, I have physically the time to do all those things that you mentioned, but I don't even really stretch enough. I'm not like trying to tell you what to do. I'm just saying that one thing I've noticed is if you look at it medicinally, like just the concept alone. You were saying you were talking about yogurt and how you like it, but if you look at it from the concept as like probiotics,
Mm-hmm.
then then uh then what's really crazy is if you take some organic or whatever it is that hasn't been whatever they do to the garlic and
Yeah.
you put like a certain amount of salt, it's like not very much, and boiling water in a jar, and that's all you have to do, and then you have like a plastic bag for the top with water on it, and it really takes like 15 minutes, and basically what I'm saying is that's really good as far as like for your stomach and stuff, where like I think it's 80% of your serotonin is made in your stomach.
Yeah.
So like that's a really cheap, like long-term solution to probiotics, because what happens is yogurt's good and everything's good, but if you go to the realm of like probiotics, it's actually really expensive. Like if you take a round of them pre-made probiotics.
Oh, those are horrible. Yeah, those are
Yeah.
so expensive.
Yeah, those are no good, but the garlic will be like $10 for a pound or whatever, and it'll last you.
Yeah. So basically what I do for my probiotic intake at the moment is firstly I have the yogurt in the morning now. That's like a new addition. But secondly, when I make salads, I always incorporate fermented veg, typically in the form of sauerkraut or kimchi,
Nice.
because they're just really, really delicious ways. And then on top of that, I actually have this protein powder. It's like Orgain with superfoods and probiotics, and per scoop, they actually have I think it's 2 billion active cultures.
Wow.
And then on top of that, I drink kombucha. And the reason I'm so picky and everything about my probiotic intake, or the reason I actively seek out so many, is firstly because, I've always had this theory where if a lot is good, then more is probably better, even. And secondly, I intake a lot of protein. I'm into like the whole bodybuilding thing.
Yeah.
And fitness. So, I mean, I'm consuming roughly 170 to 200 grams of protein per day, and that can be really hard on the stomach if you don't have enough digestive enzymes in your stomach.
Yeah.
So it helps with that. And then secondly, I also consume probably 80 to 100 grams of fiber per day, because I'm getting a lot of that protein from like whole foods plant sources.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, hang on, I got a text from someone.
So you're saying that you got it dialed and you just want to have the extra enzymes.
Yeah, to help with digesting the mass amounts of protein and hang on. Okay, I think I can do that. It's crazy. So there's this huge obsession with protein. Like people are always like, I could never go vegan. Where do you get your protein? You need to supplement more protein and stuff like that. And it's like, no, you can get plenty, first of all. And second of all, protein is the least important of the macronutrients. Carbs and fat we need to live, protein we need for muscle. So it's like, you don't really even need that.
Well, we got about 10 more minutes. See what happens here. Ladies and gentlemen. So if you press add call, can you just type that number in?
I just did that. In call service something add. Boom. I could not. I'd have to add them in a contact. I think. Oh wait, here we go. There we go. I think we're doing it.
No?
Did it? No, it didn't work. Yeah, it didn't work.
So it doesn't work. That's okay. We'll figure it out.
Well, just yeah, we'll figure it out. What I think
Discord?
we may to end up doing is just Discord and then playing them through speakerphone into a microphone.
Well, this is great. I mean, we went for it.
Yeah, we did go for it, and yeah. So basically, what happened was I tried adding them to the call, and then it split screen, and it had an avatar for you and an avatar for them, and it said waiting underneath both of them.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, but I don't know what it was waiting for.
It's not because of them not being in your contacts?
It's not because of them not being in my contacts. I was wrong. There was a little green button I could press to fix it.
I wonder what that means, because it sounds like so close. Should we try to wait for a second?
Yeah, I guess. Who is it? Just so in case.
It's just my friend from down the street.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll try one more time.
Okay, one more time, and then we'll just chill out. Are you copy and pasting, or are you just typing it in?
I'm copy and pasting.
Maybe if you type it in? I don't know.
No, it should be the same.
Yeah. You're right.
All right, so we'll just wait for a little bit.
Well, like I said, we're just experimenting, and this has been fun.
Yeah, it has been fun actually. We've learned what doesn't work, which is cool.
Yeah. Okay.
What was your question again? How was my day? Oh yeah, and then I just worked out, and then walked Chance. I listened. The way I got the second question I came up with was that was the topic of sort of an ear biscuits podcast. Just what's brought you to your spiritual identity today. I thought that would be a really interesting topic because I think I'd also learn a lot about you because I don't think I really know your spiritual standing right now.
Yeah.
Like, what happens when you die?
I think that when people say a lot of the time about spirituality, they ask the question, "What's the meaning of life?" And I always had a problem with that. I think that's a silly question, and it's almost like in itself is a joke, like maybe like a test or a riddle, you know? Like when the Buddha says life is suffering, and the only way to end suffering or enlightenment, what is it? Enlightenment is the end of suffering. Um, I can't really recall what I'm trying to compare it to. Let's see. Life is suffering, and the only way out of suffering is enlightenment, right? Is that it?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm missing something that I'm trying to point out about it. But when I think of it like just the riddle life is suffering, then how do you stop suffering? Well, you stop living your mundane BS life and you start living in the world around you and partaking in the ecosystem of planet Earth and the galaxy and everything. And as a species, we want to be like representatives of a good thing, maybe. That'd be cool. But what happens is we end up going through these progressions like a person evolving in their life and becoming like kind of self-destructive, you know. And so there's this life is suffering and people, so it's not like kill yourself and your life, it's like stop living for your life and you'll be happier and you'll stop suffering because you won't be doing things attachment, you know. You won't, most of all, you don't want to be attached to yourself, you know. So stop doing that, you know. And I think what it is it's kind of like comes back to the thing of the riddle up. So what I was saying is, what is the meaning of life? Well, what gives, like, that's what people are asking when they say what is the meaning of life, but I've always got hung up on that wording, which is stupid, really. It's kind of silly. But I think what gives life meaning is that it ends, you know, and that we can't know what happens when we die because we're alive. And if someone walked up to you and they're like, I am a time traveler from a different dimension, I have come through the hyperspace of the spatial hyperdimensional mirrors of infinity live streams, and they just come up on their thing and they're like, hey, and they blip up right here and they're like, hi. And we're like, whoa, who's that? And it's a little alien. And he's like, there's no such thing as death. Life is only a reimagining of yourself. Does, you know, the thing that Bill Hicks says. And he's like, life is just a reimagining of yourself. It's no, I don't know. Anyway, um, yeah. What if you don't die? That would be the biggest freaky thing of all. And a lot of people who go on certain spiritual trips and dimensions where they go somewhere to ask a question, they come back with something about the nature of death, and it has to do with a circle. It has to do with the week beginning again. It has to do with the seasons. It has to do with the planets. It has to do with the rhythm coming around to the one, you know, and the cadence, and it all comes back around in this big thing, you know. But what's weird is that our whole thing is built around it, not seeing that and just being like, me, I need to live forever, this and that. But what if your liver was saying that? What if your liver was like, fuck all you, sorry, I'm sorry. What if your liver was like, screw all you other organs, you know, like it just gave up on everyone else, you know?
Hmm.
Is that chance?
Yeah, sorry.
Like
You
that's
said
how
it.
I see it, is like you can't give up on the ecosystem or else you're going to become just secluded and unhappy. And to me, what spirituality would be is how you can be happy about just the mundane and just be appreciative of the fact that you're here and that you can eat carrots and that you can kind of conceive of what a carrot is and not um, get too caught up in like taking and all of that, because it's really easy, I think, to want to get rich and famous, but it's really not that great. It's better to be just self-sufficient, have a lot of good friends, you know. And that, like, to me, spirituality has become just like a dollar bill or a YouTube channel or anything else. And really what it is it's like, can you read a book? Can you even read a book? Can you go on a walk? You know, like just take a deep breath. And like I have trouble with that. So that's where I start at, you know. And like I think when people are talking about God or this and that, it's just the highest creation of the human or of like consciousness. and it might have started this whole mess, which would, you know, which would make a lot of sense. Because like people always have been saying, "Oh, there's something that started this," you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, one more thing. I think it's like the opposite side of physical space is trying to poke through, and it's trying to create that in physical space, and it's going to create the cycle, and then it'll be this end game, and it will, history will end.
So you're almost saying that it's just a circle, as in all of everything over and over again.
Basically, it's like it's an abstraction of size. It's like it's so complex that I could describe like this is the way I see it as a system, but that would only be like the liver. Like it's like when you look at a Bach piece and you just like a fugue and you analyze like 10 chords in one measure or three chords in one beat. Like that's what we'd be doing. It's a matter of time. It's too big of scale. So you can say one thing and it's great, like Alan Watts, all these people, they'll distill it for you and you're like, that's it, and you have that moment of clarity. That's what's pulling the spirit, is like, yeah, like it's like this eternal urge to be able to feel, because if we really realized for a second that it was meaningless, why would we even be protruding into physical space? Like we have this light at the end of the tunnel that we've all been saying is there, and for some reason we believe it. I guess I believe it. That's what's weird, is like even skeptical people are like, man, it must be worth it. Because
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
really working at it here.
That's interesting. I think something I've been really trying to work on lately, and it was something that like came up in the Ear Biscuits podcast that I was listening to, is being okay with and embracing uncertainty. Like, what is the meaning of life? I don't know, and that's okay. What happens after we die? I don't know, and that's okay.
Well, but it's like my point was that it's not that you don't know, it's that that's the rule. That's what life is. You can't you can't do that. It's like lucid dreaming. It's like you've broken the cycle. Like that's what you're after, is like there's this idea of samsara, or that you're going around the wheel, and then eventually you realize you can get out of the wheel and you're free, and you go, and so the ultimate death is what you're after, and suddenly the idea of dying becomes the ultimate goal. And it's like, so you flip it back and forth, and it's always flipping, and you can't figure out which is which. And it's kind of like saying what human beings might be about is a dreaming human. you know what
How
if
do you mean
that's
about?
what if that's where all the stuff happens, and maybe there's this backwards loop of all the dead people are working through dreams and just moments of like epiphany, and they're trying to make the loop go faster. There's this idea of spirits and ancestor spirits. A lot
Yeah,
of people talk about the ancestor spirits, and those are people or things that are for some reason still in manifest, that are trying to pull us into this other way. And that's a really ridiculous, I mean, that's like saying ghosts. It's like it's pretty far out. You start to get allowed to think pretty strange.
yeah.
But um yeah, what happens when you die? Yeah, we probably can't say that one.
No, I mean, like, the only thing that we can really say happens when we die is our carbon gets flushed back into the earth and probably reused, if not stored.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Um, but lots of people say whatever it is that's you doesn't die. Like whatever it is that's truly you, and that's like people, maybe they're trying to grasp and hold to. Um, well, the other thing is like reincarnation could be that you live in other people, and that we're just recycling this energy, and that there's so many people now that it's spread thin.
Yeah.
And there's all
Um,
kinds of ways of looking at it.
yeah. So that's always what I wonder, like, what makes you you? And I think I don't think there's any entity that makes you you. I think that life is just a fucking 200 quadrillion sided die that gets rolled because of how many experiences and how many conversations and the way you were brought up in the environment and the weather and all of that shit that you experience. You can't have the exact same life as somebody else, you know? It's
It's like
almost impossible to have the exact same life as somebody else because you'd have to grow up on the same like axis, on the same line of longitude and latitude, in the same bed, in the same family, with the same exact siblings who all had that. You know, like that's what makes us us. It's not some sort of spiritual entity, or we weren't born with something like that. It's just literally our placement in this world, and the odds that my four siblings and two parents were the exact same, with the exact same technological advancements at the exact same time in the exact same place in the exact same like all of those environmental like aspects as somebody else, like that's impossible. It's impossible to have the
it's
exact same life as somebody else.
mathematically impossible.
Yeah, and that's what makes you you.
And what's crazy is that that's like saying that yeah, that you're an individual anomaly that just happened, you know? But it's weird because then you get into this idea of all the other possibilities are happening simultaneously. People always say that. They're like, "Oh yeah," and then if you look at it, like there's all the other possibilities are happening simultaneously, and that's like a different. I don't know, because that's saying that each possibility is like a vertex with a binary, and that's not necessarily how reality is. It's almost more like a storybook, you know.
Yeah,
There's a weird level of like you feel like a character holding a certain level of like the story juice, you know. It's really an interesting feeling because that's what I was saying earlier is the fact that we actually feel that way is what's so miraculous. And when you start to try to say it, when you say, "Oh, I had this dream and this and that, or this experience, and this is what the song means," and all of this, you end up. It's like it's like the medium is the message. You know,
yeah.
that's what it is. It's like it's not about necessarily sitting back and talking about it. Sometimes it's just about the release, you know, and like that's it means something different to everyone.
And do you know Tash Sultana?
Yeah,
The when you said release, like yeah, they are so
yeah.
good at the release.
Grimes too. You know, Grimes goes
Oh
by like the
yeah,
Speed of Light X moniker now.
yeah,
When they perform, it's like the same kind of thing. They're just going all in. It's wacky.
yeah, yeah.
I
It's
love
all
that.
it's one giant release, and it makes you wonder though, like what does that make them like for the rest of their like being, you know? Like that's their artistic being, that's the character, that's like what they use, and that's what they perform as. So it's like that has to influence the amount of energy and the amount that they're keeping up, or are they just holding everything together so tightly when they're not on stage that it results in that, or do you think they have that kind of release throughout their life, you know?
I think those are the kinds of things that people are trying to figure out. And it's kind of like the same question earlier. What is the meaning of life? What is you? All of this stuff. What is the meaning of you, you know? And I think
Yeah.
what it comes down to is you have people who say it's fake, it's an act. And then you have people who say that, oh, that's just really how they are. Like, apparently that's how Joe Rogan is. You know, you can see Jim Carrey, he's really like that. And so it's both. It's the idea of non closure, like you were saying, and that it is both simultaneously. You're
Yeah.
right and you're wrong. And so Tosh Sultana, I bet you off stage they're like really expressive and all this, but it's not because of the music. That's how they release, and that's part of like maybe like a therapeutic feeling of like flow state and almost like a shamanic connection with something that can be shared and then healing
Mhm.
people with, you know?
Mhm.
But that's not to say they're always like that. A lot of people like that when they get off stage, just totally normal. But if you really talk to them, you'll realize they have, you know, like maybe a trauma or they have depression And so when they're on stage is the only time they feel like themselves. So it becomes this paradox where you can't figure out which one. And most of the time you'll find that those people don't know the answer to that question, and that when people say stuff like all the world's a stage, you really that's the ultimate realization, is that that's what we're doing. Your body is a mask, like you are a character. What is authenticity? Can you even there's no definition. Words are just a behavior anyway. Small mouth movements. We're not really we haven't fully gone down the road. We don't know where this goes. And I think what's funny is like people like that, the people that are going into that crazy wacky state that musicians are really prone to, of like where they're just like freaking out. That's my favorite thing about it. I love that. Where else can you do that? It's such a weird, like, I think personally that's a progression of mankind that's always been held throughout, since humans began, um, to like do things, like monkeys began to do things with rocks and do repetitive activities that gave way to like a trance state. And I think that's probably the most like evolved technology we have. And it's funny because when you're in that state, you're putting other people in that state, and you can say things that are going to be more powerful than a politician would, because you're putting them into your way of thought, and they see you for what it is, and they're like, oh, and then they have this stuck in their head. And I mean, that right there, that's the power of it.
Yeah. And what's funny, like, I feel like most times the most profound things that we say are often the most simple and like duh. Like
Yeah, like
it's
this is
like
it.
like basically, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, but I remember
Here we are.
thinking what yeah, exactly. What it was something that Alan Watts had said that like it was so simple but like hit so freaking hard. Um yeah, I don't know why I can't remember it anymore. But like life is relative. Do you remember the first time like we started, like we were like 16 or whatever, we were hanging out, and I don't know, maybe it didn't hit as hard for you as it did for me, but I remember I said, dude, life is fucking relative. And you were like, yeah, but like, and it's just like such a duh moment thing. But like, when you actually start to sit down and dissect those types of thoughts and those types of like realities, I feel like that's when people start to get into a spiritual sense and they start to try and create truths out of like the relativity of life. Um, I don't really know where I'm going with this. I really just wanted to remember that quote.
That's okay. It'll probably come back. Okay. You could probably type some keywords in or try to tell me it. But yeah, relativity.
I'll listen to the talk again. Yeah.
Questioning things like, why do I have a TV like this? Do I really need this much stuff? Just like certain things, like why, like the thing on our last talk about clothing being toxic. Like, if you look into like, why do I think this? Like for example, I've heard that lots of sort of like things and like prejudices, they've done what they consider like science, where they like test people in like ways of like comparing like their views on the world and stuff, and a lot of it is just fear responses in your brain, where the part of your brain that's afraid because it doesn't know, it's the unknown. And so when you go into the unknown, that's the healing moment where you're like, wow, I thought this was going to be jumping off a cliff, but now it's more of like somewhere that is inviting. And like, people, that's, I think a lot of it is fear. And like what you have to do is embrace it, because like we said earlier, like it's not that you want to end your life, it's just that what's great is that if it went on forever, that would be, it's almost like the Big Bang, the limit case for credulity. Like, if you can believe that, you can believe anything. Like everything came from nowhere, never in an instant of time that didn't exist, and it's like this like absurd concept. Like living forever is like that. It doesn't. That's like it just comes back to like if a squirrel came up to you and the squirrel was like, "Hey, what's the meaning of life?" You'd be like, like go gather nuts, like go have fun in the field, and you're a squirrel, or like a gnat that's gonna die in a day. If a gnat was like, "What's the meaning of life?" So that's what I think. It's just perspective, right?
Yeah.
That's perspective.
Yeah. Now, I remember a little while ago I told you I had discovered the meaning of life, and I think we kind of touched on this.
I think we did. I'm not sure if we did it on a
We haven't
recording.
done it, yeah, on recording yet, but what I've found as like the closest representation of the meaning of life is to enjoy the beauty, serenity, and complexity of life sober, as though you're on a very potent dose of psychedelics. So, like, I do this in a sense of I consider myself to be a very mature person when I need to be. When I'm sitting down in a meeting for business, or when I'm, in a serious situation, I'm not making jokes. I'm not fiddling around and acting like a 10-year-old. But, when I'm just randomly, okay, this way, there we go. When I'm just like randomly hanging out, like if I'm at the bars, I do not care at all if people are like, "What is that guy like 8 years old?" It's like I literally don't give a shit. I go whole hog, make stupid fucking jokes. I'm loud and crazy, and like you've seen me at concerts before, right?
Yeah.
That's my way of doing that kind of thing. That's like I try to incorporate that aspect in as many ways as possible, in the sense of like I think if everybody actually was doing what they wanted to be, everybody would seem like they were on drugs all the time.
Be the change you want to see in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And um it's just so strange because like I feel like we're on this never-ending cycle of trying to find the meaning of life, and meanwhile everybody who's claiming that they found it or is trying to show it to you is actively going against what I think the true meaning of life actually is. And I can't even really teach anybody what the meaning of life is. All I can really do is just like say what it's not.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. And then
know?
eventually, whatever you have left, that little piece, that's it.
And yeah. And so, like, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder, maybe that dude in his underwear on the side of the streets with a sign that's like all technicolored saying like love is the answer. Maybe that really is like the answer. Maybe he has figured it out more than the others. And I'm sorry, but it's 2:20 and I gotta hit the can you hear me?
Yeah. You going? You got it.
Yeah, Kelsey's here. I gotta
All right.
check her.
Later, man. Have a
Later,
good one.
dude.
Well, here we are. Still recording. That's good. Just to wrap up, maybe Kevin come back and listen to this, and then it'll be as if I'm talking to him through time travel. But I remember, I think it was the Joe Rogan podcast with James Maynard Keenan, the lead singer of Tool. That's pretty much the same thing that he said, that Kevin said when asked about not the meaning of life, but just that topic in general. Because he's not one to kind of like dwell on that, but I think it's a source of his inspiration and his writing of music. Maybe their music videos too. But yeah, and then the other thing that I just want to follow up on is the thing with I think he was referencing Matthew Silver, Matthew Silver's, I think he's been blown open in a empathic, maybe telepathic way from a childhood, I'm pretty confident, head injury, which actually is in many ways something that I believe was affected me when I was younger. I just didn't really notice it. But this was, compared to whatever I was just referencing, an actual brought to the hospital, documented traumatic brain injury, Matthew Silver's part. And I think it was highlighted in a Vice documentary a couple months ago. Could have just been an independent documentary, actually. But I think there's 2 documentaries on Matthew Silver. And his message is, I have a whole list, and maybe, part of me wants to go through it right now, but I'm not going to. But there's many people that I call are close. They're almost there. And I think Matthew Silver is there. It's a perfect expression. And I worry that he's potentially taking on from his, as he had mentioned, the way that he performs in New York. I know he's gone to live stream, but the whole point is that he's out there with the people. And I guess I'm just thinking maybe from his interviews, he seemed like he was not always maybe the happiest guy, and just the way that happiest person. And as we all aren't, but it just shocked me, because you see these videos and he's basically like the epitome of all this, but then when you research it, you realize that maybe he's had to put in negative experiences to realize these things, and is trying to help us. Schmaltz.